Okay, so you're making and selling your cool, unique thing, whether it's paintings, purses, jewelry, clothing, or home decor, whatever it is. The fact that you're selling it is no small thing. Good for you, congratulations. You should pat yourself on the back. Not all creatives ever even get to that point where they've made or designed something that people want to pay money for, to buy. So you should be really proud of that. But now, what can you do to increase your income? Hi, I'm Amy, and on this channel we talk about how your creative gift has value. In this video, we're going to be breaking down the two different roads to increasing your income through selling the things that you've made or designed. Okay, so let's get right into it. There are basically two roads you can take to increase the income that you're making once you're selling your stuff and once you're kind of selling what you can make yourself with your own two hands. There are two ways to bump up how much you're earning. One way is to sell more of it, and the other way is to sell it for more. So these are basically your two options, and we can break down and look at what each of those entails. First, let's talk about option number one, sell more of it. There's a limit to what you can make with your own two hands, and there's only 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week. So when you're kind of maxing out what you can make, then you got to see how you can grow beyond that in order to start making more money with what you're selling. There are several things you can do to scale up your business. That's what we call it when you are going up to the next level beyond what you can just make yourself. The first thing I want to say before we talk about those options for scaling up your business is that if you're at a point where you're ready to pay somebody to help you do something, first you might want to think about having someone help you do things that are not the jobs you're good at, not your art, and not the thing that you make, so that you can spend as much time as possible doing the hands-on part of your art. That's yours, and that's what makes you unique, and it's got your hands on it, and it's probably what you love to do the most. So if you're gonna set aside a little money to pay somebody to help you, first you may want to help somebody do your bookkeeping or clean up your house, something that isn't directly related to your art, so that you can spend more time doing your art. Most of us would rather do that and do better that way as artists. But if you've moved beyond that point where you need some help with the art itself or the project or the work itself, then there are some ways to look at how you scale up your business to get that kind of help so that you can make more of your product and you can sell more of it. So if you're at a point where you need to call in some help so that you can make more of your thing or do more of your thing and sell more of it, it may be as simple as just hiring a little bit of part-time help. And it could be somebody who's artsy and can do some of the easier parts of the job that you don't have time to do. The very first employee I had, I called the local high school art teacher in my town, and I asked if she could recommend someone who was either a high school kid or a recently out of high school kid who had good art skills and would be interested in a part-time job. She gave me the name of somebody who became my first employee. And thinking about resources like that can help you find somebody who is going to be maybe the right fit for you starting off. Somebody who's a student can take just a few hours when you can't even pay them very much and you don't have a full-time job to offer them. So that can be a place to start getting some help and finding somebody who's going to be interested in learning about the art field and about what you're doing. It's going to be a great education for them too. Sometimes you may want to hire out a portion of what you're making to some kind of company or place that already does it. If there's something that you were cutting out yourself, for example, when I first started doing picture frames, cutting them out in a shop myself took quite a while, and eventually when I was selling enough of them, then I went to a wood shop, a person who had a CNC router, and had them start cutting them out for me. So I just hired out that part to another company, and then I still did the rest of the stuff in-house myself. The other end of that spectrum is to go all the way to outsourcing this thing that you make, possibly finding a company, in China or Indonesia or someplace that can make it overseas for you for a much, much lower price. But that will be something you'll need to order in volume, and it's a large prospect. So most of us need some stepping stones in between being ready to do that. And now, luckily, there are many kinds of small-scale manufacturing or low-volume production options that are available out there that weren't available in the past. I mentioned CNC routers, which are routers that are computer programmed, and they can cut things out for you once they're programmed. There's screen printing. There's prints that can be made on printing presses. And there's also, now there are 3D printers, which can produce items that are three-dimensional, and that was not something we were able to do even a few years ago. So now you can do small-scale production with 3D printers. That's opened up an entirely new world of things that you can make yourself and do multiples of them and have it done by a machine. As far as learning more about small scale production or low volume production, check out your city to see if there's a makerspace or co-op that you could get plugged into, and there may be ways that you can learn to use a 3D printer or rent time on it. There may be other people there who can help teach you. There can be classes that you can take. That's a great way to get plugged in to start to find other creatives who are trying to make and do things. I've also got a great book on low volume production that has all kinds of interesting ideas in it, and I will leave some information about that in the links below. All right, so if you're able to make more of it, then it moves you into a place where you can start to consider wholesaling what you're making. And the great thing about wholesaling on a true scale is that you can sell more of it. You're making more of it, hopefully for less money because you're getting help with it. You can sell it wholesale to other retailers who will then retail it for you. You usually will have minimum amounts that they are required to order, so the orders that you're getting are bigger. Even though you're selling each item for less, you're selling so many of them at once that you're making more money that way, and other people end up doing the final selling. Also, you spend less time doing things like packing and shipping because you're selling larger orders to other retailers, and then they'll go on and sell it to each little individual customer instead of you shipping one at a time to every person on the planet. So it saves you and gives you more time to be making the thing that you want to make. All right, now let's talk about option number 2, which is sell it for more. So we called the first version scaling up your business. This one I'm going to call upscaling, because what you're going to do is you're going to try and make this product or this art that you're making to have more value, more perceived value, and for you to be able to charge more for it. Still only making what you can make with your own 2 hands or with a little bit of help. It needs to be kind of a small scale item that you're making, but you're going to continue to sell it for more and more so that you're making more money. And what are some ways that you can do this? Scarcity, limited quantity, those are things that make the price go up, and high demand are the things that make the price go up. Also, luxury branding, anything that has a higher perceived value, is presented as something that's a luxury product or a rare and exquisite item, that can help you to sell it for more. Okay, one thing that can make your item sell for more is if thought or opinion leaders are using it. There's conspicuous consumption. If someone is using your product or likes your product, and you can show to other people, hey, this important or famous person is using my product. If something can go viral, if it's everywhere and suddenly everyone sees it and recognizes it, then you can charge more for it. And so working your social media can help to make some of those things happen so that you can start to sell it for more. If you want to take a few pointers from luxury brands in trying to create more of a luxury brand for your product, here are a few tips. Creating a high-end complete experience for your customer is one thing that luxury brands do. Involving the customer in some kind of ritual is another idea you can think about. Also, luxury brands often go beyond just a logo. It's more than just a logo. It's about the entire way that the product is presented. Another quality that luxury brands have is they don't strive to please everyone. They're not to be enjoyed by the masses. They are more exclusive and more targeted. So targeting your product to something really specific and really going for that customer's likes and not trying to please everyone can also set you apart as being more of an exclusive brand. And finally, talking about exclusivity again, luxury brands often pull customers into an exclusive circle. And that's something that you can do with your work in many different ways, and that can help you to charge more for it. So a few things you can do with those ideas are you can take your own work and create different levels of service or of product that you offer to your customers. You can think about what you already have and what you're already making, and then you can create an entirely new tier of your product that's going to be a higher price point. Or what a lot of brands do is you can create 3 tiers, and people are going to be more likely to take the middle one even if it's more than what you've been charging right now. So creating different tiers with different price points which have more benefits and more features the higher up you go, those are ways that you can charge more for what you're selling. Another suggestion is to use words like artisanal or luxe or luxury, handmade, small batch, private collection, special edition, all those kinds of things that make something special and exclusive for your customer, truly limiting how much you make of something. You can't just say that it's limited. You really need to limit how much it's going to be so that it isn't something that can be available forever. That also helps you to be able to charge a premium for it. I want to urge you to take a look at your product or products, or even at your skills and your interests and your ideas for products, and think about which of these pathways would work the best for you. Because having a plan and doing this strategically can really help you to have better outcomes and to get there quicker. Now, certainly you can do a combination of these paths. The most obvious example of that would be fine artists who have been doing this for a while and they can sell their original paintings for a very good price in a great gallery. Then they also do mass-produced prints that are made by someone else somewhere else. And then in between they have a tier which would be limited edition, signed, and numbered prints of a higher quality. So they're making money at 3 different tiers in 3 different ways. And you can do a combination of those things too, but I think it helps for you to start having a plan, a strategic plan for where you want to be so that you can start to learn and study and figure out how you're going to get there. Okay, I'd like to hear in the comments below what it is you make or are thinking of making and what you think would be the best way to go. What's your goal for where you're going to sell it and who you're going to sell it to? I'd love to hear that. For those of you who are more interested in the wholesaling part of it, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to go up to the Dallas Market Center because there's going to be a market going on, and I will take some video to give you a little sneak peek inside. That's a place that's open to the trade only, and I'll talk a little bit about what you have to do to be able to get in there and either shop there or sell there. So I'll be talking about that a little more. Be sure and subscribe and click on that little bell icon so that you can get notifications whenever I do post a video. And I'll see you next week. Thanks.